And we will call the meeting of the SWAT committee to order at 3 o'clock, maybe seconds after 3, but welcome everyone. And we convene the meeting. Let's see, Darlene, can you do a roll call for attendance for the committee members?
Yes, Madam Chair. Can everybody hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Perfect. Okay. Council Member Soff?
Here.
Mayor Hudson?
Yes. Here.
Supervisor Anderson?
I'm here.
Mayor Worth?
Here.
Vice Chair Stepper?
Here.
And Chair Geringer.
And I am here as well. Thank you
Perfect.
very much.
Mhm.
Are there any, I went to the very end of the agenda already. So this is the opportunity for the members of the public to speak to the committee. And are there any members of the public who would like to share something that is not on the agenda, but under the purview of the organization? And Darlene, do you see any hands?
No, I do not.
And did we receive any written public comment before the meeting?
No, we have not.
Okay, then we will move on to agenda item number 3, which is board member comment. And do we have any board members who would like to share something for the good of the order? Okay, I don't see any hands raised. Moving on to agenda item number 4, administrative items. Darlene or Lisa, do you have any administrative items?
No, we do not. Oh,
Okay.
you know what? I'm so sorry. Yes, we do. My apologies. It was brought to my attention that on the summary of the minutes dated November the 1st, under staff member present.
Darlene, we can refer that item when we get to the minutes.
I indicated that
Darlene,
Marty was in the meeting for the town of Raga, and actually it should have been Brett.
I'm sorry, Chair.
Okay.
So I would.
I think we're having
just
issues
wanted-
with our internet here.
Lisa is not good enough. I'm hearing
Yeah.
it's me. Okay.
It was breaking up for all of us. Don't
You-
worry.
oh,
It's not
okay,
just
thank you.
Teresa, it's us all.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think it
and
was
so-
breaking up for all of us. So, and Darlene, the items, so the correction for the minutes can go under consent with the consent,
Perfect.
but okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. But while we are here, I did realize that we did not introduce other members. We went through the roll call, but could we quickly have all of the staff members and others who are here introduce themselves? And I'll start with the town of Danville.
Thank you, Chair. This is Andy Dillard, Transportation Manager with the town of Danville, and I'd also like to introduce Caitlin Costa, who's on the call. She's our new transportation specialist, so she'll be
Great.
shadowing me at some meetings. Thank you.
Great, welcome to both of you. And in no particular order, let's go to the town of Moraga. And I pulled the town of Moraga and I don't see Brett.
I don't see Brett.
Okay, we'll go back, Lafayette.
Mike Moran with City of Lafayette.
Thanks, Mike. And Arinda?
Hi, I'm Jason Chen, City of Orinda staff, and we also have Siva.
Hi, I'm Siva Natarajan with City of Orinda.
Welcome. And county?
He's on mute. Robert's here. Robert's
Yeah.
muted. He's trying to unmute himself. Robert Sarmiento with his
Yeah.
Contra Costa County. Isn't that right, Robert?
Yes. Welcome, Robert. And Ruby.
Hi, good afternoon. Ruby Horta with County Connection, and I also like to introduce Melanie Reeves. She'll be assisting moving forward with some of these SWAT meetings.
Great, thank you. And Brian, and I think I saw you had a tag earlier, but welcome. Oh no, Brian, okay.
Good afternoon, Brian Bornstein, City of San Ramon, City Engineer.
Thank you. And Brendan, it was Brendan who is with.
Yeah, Brendan Nee with Blink Tagging.
Okay, and did we miss anyone? I think I see all the boxes. So if we did miss someone, I apologize, and I apologize for not doing that in the proper order, but welcome everyone. And thank you for all the work you do in between our meetings to keep everything moving forward for SWAT. Moving on now to the consent calendar, and we have the change that was noted earlier that has been captured. Do we have any other comments on the consent calendar item, the approval of the minutes?
No, I'm happy to move approval, Teresa, with that change, that was Brett Swain was present for the town of Moraga instead of Marty McIntyre.
Okay, and do we have a second?
Second, Hudson.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion by committee member Sauce and a second by committee member Hudson. Darlene, would you please call the roll call vote?
Yeah. Mayor Hudson?
Yes.
Supervisor Anderson?
Yes.
Mayor Worth?
Aye.
Councilmember Sauce?
Yes.
Vice Chair Stepper?
Yes.
And Chair Geringer.
Aye. Thank you. And thanks, Darlene. And we'll move on to agenda item number 6 and 6A, review and approve new SWAT website and budget increase. And Darlene, want to take it away?
Yes,
is it Darlene and Lisa?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. SWAT TAC recommends that SWAT review and approve the new SWAT website and an increase of $2,000 to the total cost of the SWAT website design for an updated SWAT logo. So before I turn the presentation over to Brandon from Blink Tag, I wanted to provide some background information regarding the website design. Back in 2014, SWAT implemented a new standalone website. The website hosting includes an annual maintenance contract totaling $2,000, which is included in the annual MOU between the City of San Ramon and SWAT. Since then, the SWAT administrator has worked with the previous vendor on the system upkeep. However, there has not been a system-wide redesign of the website. Increasingly, the system was outdated and insufficient to meet the needs of SWAT. So it was determined that a new SWAT website design was needed. On April the 5th, SWAT approved the final SWAT website design, development, and maintenance service RFP. A total of 4 vendors submitted a proposal. On July 12th, SWAT approved the contract with Blink Tag for a total cost of $10,000 for the website design, which equaled to $1,670 per agency for fiscal year 21-22. On September the 29th, the City of San Ramon entered into an agreement with Blink Tag, and SWAT administrative staff embarked on coordinating with Blink Tag on the following items. We held a preliminary meeting to review the contract and we created a timeline. We held a kickoff meeting with SWAT TAC to gather feedback related to the existing SWAT website and what they would like to see on the new website. And we created a new SWAT domain name and brand colors to be used throughout the new SWAT website. On November the 17th, Blink Tag attended the SWAT TAC meeting and presented a mock-up of the website. SWAT TAC provided comments and additional feedback. In addition, at this meeting, TAC determined it was necessary to update the existing SWAT logo. The updated logo is an additional cost of $2,000, which increases the total cost of the website design to $12,000 from $10,000. This is an increase of $330 per agency for fiscal year 21-22 from what was previously approved back in July. So just to kind of run through the numbers. So back in July, the agreement with Blink Tag was $10,000. We divided that by the 6 agencies, which came up to the $1,670. The current update, now that we're moving forward with updating the current SWAT logo, is $12,000. So you take that $12,000 and you divide that by the 6 agencies. That comes up to the $2,000, but the difference between what was originally approved to today's new number is $330. So at this time, I'm going to share my screen, if that's okay. Let's see, hold on here, and I'm going to show you the logo design. Right here and go. Can you guys see that? Okay, I see nodding heads. So these are the logos that SWAT TAC has selected, and at this time we would like to get your feedback and input on these logos. A decision does not have to be made today. What I was planning on, I will email this PDF out to everyone. And if you could please let me know by the end of the day on Friday, your top 2 choices, and then I can forward the final logo design to Blink Tag.
Okay, is that
And then,
report? Okay.
sorry, I'm multitasking here. So I'll stop sharing this for right now because I will send these out.
Do you question?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Oh, and actually, it looks like Karen had her virtual hand up first. I don't know if she wanted to go first.
Darlene, is this the end of this part of the report? And because then we can have folks ask questions on the logo.
Correct. So what I was going to do now was pass it. I was going to go ahead and let Brendan share his screen so he could share the updates on the website and go through that with everyone. And then at the end, I was going to open it up for any questions if anybody had any.
Okay, and so if committee members Stepper and Anderson, if you're okay, we'll let the presentation be finished and then we'll come back.
That's fine.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so at this time, I would like to introduce Brendan Nee with Blink Tag, and he will now present the updated SWAT website.
Excellent. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Great. So I'm going to go over the updated website and then kind of give the high points, and then we can get into any questions that people have. But so the new website, it's built on top of WordPress, which is a easy to use content management system. One of the big areas of emphasis is that it's designed to work really well on mobile, because the majority of visitors nowadays are on mobile devices. And so there's no sidebars, things collapse vertically, and everything's sized to fit on mobile devices. So it also look good on desktop, but the mobile is really where we've put some emphasis in. So the same site can collapse down and fit perfectly on a mobile phone, fully responsive, with a fully responsive mobile menu. So let's go through the website. So right away at the homepage, we have a summary of what SWAT is, really short, concise. People landing here, what is it? And that's what they want to know. One sentence with a link to read more. More details are available if you want to get into it, but you can quickly tell what SWAT is. And then the next thing people want to know is what are the upcoming meetings. And so we've got a section right here for all the upcoming meetings at SWAT, and both the SWAT committee meetings and the LPMC and LFA meetings. So if there's any upcoming meetings, they show up right here. There's also a quick link to get to the meeting archives, which we'll look at in a second. And then we've got a section here to let people subscribe via email to get notified of upcoming meetings so that they can get agendas in advance. And then down here, we have a section with the staff contact information, the key contact information about just general SWAT questions. So that's the homepage, and really tried to distill down and keep it, get the key information that people are looking for right on the homepage, and it's really about meetings is what it's about. So let's take a look at the meetings, the committee meetings. So if we click on SWAT committee meetings, we can see here any upcoming meetings at the top, and then we can also scroll down and see all the past meetings, agendas, and potentially meeting minutes if they're a separate document, if they're not part of the agenda, and also recordings. We'll have support for recordings of meetings in audio format. We show the most recent 12 past meetings, and then we've actually got a page where we'll show all the past meetings. Below that, we've got the key information about the SWAT committee, so the notifications and submission guidelines, as well as some documents related to the committee, the rules of procedure, and some information about the committee structure. And with documents, we aren't just linking to them, we give a little bit of a description of what the document is. So it gives people a better idea of what they're about to download and what they're going to look at. We can look at we also have a page where we've put the information about SWAT. So this is the page where we get into some details about SWAT and what it is, who it represents, and links to the other regional transportation planning committees, as well as a map showing where SWAT is and isn't. And then a quick blurb about CCTA and what that's about. And then a section for documents. We've got the transportation plan and action plans here. And then we go through and detail the staff members with links to their jurisdictions and organizations and committee assignments, as well as contact info, emails where relevant. So this page kind of distills down, like if someone's looking for information about SWAT, this has got everything you need to know about the organization, about who it currently is, and how it works. And then finally, we have the LPMC and LFFA meeting sections, and those are designed to work pretty similar to the committee meetings section, where there's a place for upcoming meetings to be listed. There's the key contact person, and then we have meeting archives of all the past 12 meetings, and as well as a place for even older archives. So it's really fast to get to either see what's coming up or what recently happened. It's all on the same page. And then the LFFA is similarly laid out. It's got, at the top, it tells you what the committee is, when it typically meets and where, information about upcoming meetings, information, about the contact, and then the archives. So it works in a similar way, and it can support recordings and separate meeting minutes, in addition to posting agendas and times and locations. Right now, we're using a placeholder logo. This is the current SWAT logo right here. And so we're just waiting. Once the new logo is selected and finalized, then that can be placed on the website as well and used throughout. So that's a good overview of the website, and happy to take questions if that makes sense to do, and also get feedback from people.
Okay, thank you. Can you take down or stop sharing your screen so that we can see each other, see our little boxes? And Darlene, did you have anything else to add before I go to committee member questions and comments?
No, not at this time.
Okay, thank you. So committee member Stepper and then committee member Anderson, and thank you for waiting.
Thank you. So it's actually very clean and very direct for the things that people ask right away. So I love the fact that when you're using your mobile phone, it's going to be that quick because you're usually sitting in another meeting. So I wanted to understand about the logo because I don't see anything that makes me think it's related to transportation whatsoever. So I understand you wanted to update it from the Mount Diablo picture that we have on there now, but I still don't understand the rationale for the design. So I'd like to hear that.
Oh, sure. I mean, I can talk about that. So we didn't really redesign the logo as much as take the current logo and make it high res and colorized. So we didn't go through a design process. So there was no rationale or decision. We just took what you have and kept it. So that's, I can't speak to the original design rationale. I understand it's possibly more than a decade old, and so I don't know who created the original logo or what their rationale was. You know, I think it's got gradated stripes, so you could, if you squint, it's maybe lanes of a highway. So if you wanted to connect to transportation, it's not completely far off. But anything looks good if you squint, I suppose. But yeah, so this isn't really a redesign, and there was no really rethinking of it. It's taking the current logo and basically creating a vector version and colorizing it and updating the fonts and layout, because there was no high resolution version of the old logo. It was an extremely low resolution logo taken from a PDF. So
I've been there, but that was all right. Well, I'm just used to working with Valley Link that had a picture of the new train coming across the Altamont Pass, and it's very artistically done and very simple. And so I like the way it related to the agency. So that's apparently not on you. You didn't design it, but okay. We'll go hear other people's comments. So.
Okay, thank you. Committee member Anderson.
Yes, no, it's funny, you know, we never think about, probably if for those of us who sit on 25 to 30 different committees, if you had to say what your logo was without looking at it, we might have a hard time doing so. And so when I saw those logos, I immediately went to our agenda and said, oh, hey, that is our logo, but in black and white. And so, you know, from a simplicity, you know, I think to Karen's point, yeah, we could spend a lot of time and money rebranding, coming up with a new logo. I don't think it's a good use of money or time simply because it is what it is, and not that many people go to the website, and not that many people look at SWAT agendas. So personally, rather than just sending Darlene a vote, I don't mind having a brief discussion just to see if we're at consensus, because someone might say something that someone else will go, oh yeah. I mean, and so from my simplistic standpoint, I actually liked the one that just had the pretty much the same one we had with the real lines, rather than the blurry one where I thought, am I looking at an eclipse, or what is it that I'm really looking at? And so frankly, I would just stick with the lines. I like the gradation, you know, from blue to green. It's pretty, it matches the website. As far as the website, I do like the clean lines. I think it's very easy to navigate, which is always my goal when I'm going to a website trying to find an agenda, or I refer people more importantly to a website, say just go to the website, you'll find what you need there. So no complaints or criticism of the website, but frankly, I would just keep the logo the same and go with I think it was number 1.
Yeah,
it was number 1. So any others? So let's see, I saw Dave Hudson's hands first, and then I'm committee member Hudson, and then committee member Sauce, and then committee member Worth.
Well, I'm going to need another 8 or 9 to choose from, but while you're coming up with them, I agree with Candace, and I'll do whatever she says. Logos, I mean, I didn't know we had the darn thing till you said that. And Karen's point is probably more to the point, is that does it recognize this as a transportation thing? I was thinking even along the same lines, at least once, excuse me, in this documentation, maybe because I've spent so much time trying to figure out what these 3-letter, what do you call those things? I was looking for 20 minutes for DBH in a reforestation protocol. Couldn't find a thing. I mean, how many people that are new here know what La Miranda is? At least once we might, especially when you separate them. The town of Moraga. But it's a small thing. Other than that, I wouldn't change a darn thing. I think it is so clean that it makes it easy to spell out what somebody's looking for. And if it isn't there, I don't know what it is. So yeah, I would go with option 1 simply because 1 vote's already been cast for it. I can't think of, so if we get a 3rd, we're through this thing. And just, I don't know where you think, but just for the heck of it, imagine somebody's new to the area and they don't know what La Miranda is. And put it in there one time. Maybe it's just habit because we do that whenever we do those. What are those 3-letter things? We have
acronyms.
Acronyms. We do.
La Miranda's more.
The first time you see it, it usually explains what it is, and you go back and look it up. But
yeah.
Other than that, I think you've got it nailed.
Great, thank you, Committee Member Hudson, Committee Member Sauce, and then Committee Member Worth.
Thank you. And by the way, for whatever reason, my raise hand feature on Zoom is disabled. So I don't know if that's my problem or resides somewhere else. 3 things, if I may. So I'm, Brendan, and thank you for your presentation. I'm trying to understand.
You're on mute.
Ooh. Sorry. I'm trying to understand the relationship between this website and LPMC, LFFA materials. Is this, because if I'm right, the LPMC and LFFA stuff resides on the City of Lafayette servers right now, or no, or on CCTA?
If I may jump in, currently we also the LPMC and LFA material reside on the same website as the SWAT. So the idea is to update both of them, all 3 of them at the same time.
Okay, great. I'm very happy. I was very happy to see it because we have gotten comments that the LPMC and LFA stuff sometimes is hard to find. So to the extent we can improve the end user experience, I'm all for it. There was, Brendan, a screenshot that you showed that had the title Unofficial Committee Structure. And I don't know what that is, but I'll just tell you that viscerally, if I'm looking at a public agency's website and the word unofficial appears, I have pause. So we should think about whether that goes on there or whether it should be described differently.
Sure, that's on the existing site. So it's an ongoing issue if that's an issue.
Okay, well, I don't know what's there and whether it's useful, but we should think about whether we want anything to say unofficial that is on a public agency website. And then the third comment I had is on the cost. So am I correct that right now, because we don't have sort of a digitized camera ready, I'm sure I'm using the wrong phrases, logo, that there is some labor intensity towards branding our stuff, that I'm trying to figure out why the $2,000 is money well spent.
Yeah, well, I can speak to that. So yeah, there is no high resolution version of it. And so I was asked to not only create a high resolution version, but go through some iterations on the design, not the overall design, but colorizing, changing the gradient, searching for typeface, seeing if we could match it to the typefaces and colors. So that's the design exercise we went through to come up with a high resolution version of the logo that can be used across the website, letterhead, business cards, printed materials, billboards, whatever it is you guys want to use it on, it will be ready. With the constraint that it's a super small logo design exercise. We were not modifying, we were really taking the sort of look and feel of the current logo and keeping it. We weren't really designing a new one. We were just sort of polishing and basically creating from scratch. Using that as a template, we need a high res vector version of it to be used across all medium. So that was the process we went through for that.
Okay, and so creating that high res vector, and my apologies if I'm using the wrong words, version, that costs $2,000.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Renata. And thank you, Brendan, for the answers. And then committee member Worth.
Great. Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, I agree that I went back and looked at that unofficial description and I love it. That those of you take a look at it and some of us know some of the folks that are on that list, but most of them are gone. So I think we just delete that. I think at some point, if the authority wants to do a org chart, that would be appropriate for them to do it. But it's a wonderful document, but it doesn't make sense to be on this. And it probably speaks to why we need to redo this website. So I agree. I think it could be deleted and we can talk later about any kind of org chart we want to do. But the other thing, I agree with the speakers about the logo. I think in looking at it, it's consistent also with the authority logo, which is also around. And I guess the 6 stripes must refer to the 6 agencies that are that are in SWAT. So when I looked at the stripes, so I think I love the idea of color and clean lines and doing it the way it was suggested. I had the same question about the cost, just in terms of, because it's really just an update, but I know that design services are expensive but I think it makes sense to update it. And the most important thing is the access for the user. And the user, it looks very easy to, navigate. And also then we can have the LPMC and the the Tri-Valley entity on there too. So we know where everything is going to go. And when we post our meetings, in our town, whatever communication tools each member city use, we could just link to this. So sounds good. I'd be very happy to go ahead with that item that has the stripes with a clear color.
Thank you. And thank you for the supposition. I thought you would have known and been maybe even involved in the design, but the idea that the 6 stripes represent the agency. And I see you, committee members Stepper, and please share your thoughts.
Yeah, I just would like to close since I started it. I didn't realize that we actually had the same logo already because it's in black and white. I wasn't thinking of the same thing. And I think if you ever wanted a logo, and no, I don't want to spend a lot of money for the logo right now. I agree. We have some fantastic logos and they were designed by the kids who did the tunnel for the Caldecott Tunnel. Do you remember the coasters and the great designs they used for the Caldecott Tunnel, which is one of the biggest projects that benefited SWAT. So anyway, so in the future, so I'd be fine with this. I agree with the actual lines like Candace said.
Okay, so any other questions or comments? And thank you. I also had a question about where that design came from and the guidance. And so also had sort of that eye-opening that we already have that, but it's been in black and white. I also agree. I like the stripes, particularly now that we have an idea about what they might stand for, because I didn't really see transportation in there either. But so do you have enough guidance, Darlene? I don't think that it was specifically a vote. And I think committee member Sauce, you might have been the only one who did not specifically weigh in on logo number 1. But thanks for getting it. Thanks. Thank you. So I think there you go. We all finished our work well ahead of the deadline of Friday. So
thank you all very much.
Thank you, committee member Anderson. And I do also like the cleaning, how clean the web. First of all, that you can just find things, because I know that in Lafayette there was for a little while there on some of our meetings there was frustration about where to find things about the meetings. And so thank you for all the work that we've done on that. And I guess it's probably somewhere in a lot of words that I've read over the last couple of days, but when do we have sense that we're going to launch?
So thank you so much. And first of all, thank you for all the feedback. And I learned something today about the 6 stripes. That is a really good, I really like that.
It's a new story we're going to feature. So
yes. No, I appreciate all that. At this time, SWAT TAC recommends that SWAT does approve to provide the input for the SWAT changes, review and approve the new SWAT logo, approve the increase of the $2,000, prepare, and with that, staff will prepare an amendment to the contract with Blink and approve the launch of the final SWAT website for January 1st, 2022.
okay, so I'll go back to you in just a second, Committee Member Worth. So I just noticed a couple of things when Brenda was going through, and maybe that was an old version of it, but on LMPC, I saw a couple of things that I was thinking there must be more files to put up there or folders. So I'll do that offline. Committee Member Worth, do you have another comment or a motion?
I do, thank you. And I'm happy to make a motion too, if you'd like that. I did have one question, forgive me if you have already addressed it, maybe at the TAC meeting. But one of the things that we need to do, and I know, is that when we rotate the two subgroups of SWAT, city staff, we rotate the staff. And so when we put the Tri-Valley or the LPMC or the LFFA info in there, are those staff folks be able to make those changes directly to the website? Because I know that was one of the issues in the past, that it wasn't as nimble as being able to, just have our local staff make the changes, whether it's those 2 committees or 3 committees.
Yes. The next step is to schedule training with SWAT TAC members with Blink Tag on how to make those updates to the new SWAT website.
Perfect.
So yeah.
Great, thank you. Okay, and then with that, then I'd be happy to make a motion to approve the contract amendment with regards to the design of the website and the logo. And, okay, great.
Thank you. So we had a motion from Committee Member Worth and a second from Committee Member Anderson, and it's to approve the new SWAT website and the budget increase. Is that correct, Darlene? Right. Okay. Yeah. So Darlene, is there any additional discussion? Is there any public comment on this item? Do we receive any written public comment?
No, we have not.
And are there any members of the public or anyone who is here who would like to make a comment on this item who hasn't had a chance to do so?
Desperation there, Teresa.
I'm making sure we're dotting our I's and crossing our T's. So Darlene, would you please call the vote?
Yeah. Mayor Hudson?
Yes.
Supervisor Anderson?
Yes.
Mayor Worth?
Aye.
Councilmember Stock?
Yes.
Vice Chair Stepper?
Yes.
And Chair Geringer?
Yes. And thank you very much. Thank you, Darlene. Thank you, Brendan, Lisa, everyone who has worked on the website. And we look forward to it going live. So item 6B, we will receive a report on the SWAT work plan for calendar year 2022 by Lisa Bobadilla. And this is an information item, no action required. So Lisa.
Yes, thank you, Chair Geringer. Good afternoon, SWAT members. So the item before you this afternoon is the annual work plan for SWAT for 2022. The items that we have presented are items that we are aware of as of today, but of course, items throughout the year can be added, particularly if there's an item of interest from the Transportation Authority or agency member or member agencies. So there are a few items that are admin related that are going to come to all of you during the first meeting of the year. That includes the rotation of chair and vice chair. Currently, Lafayette is the chair with Danville as vice chair. So starting in January or February of 2022, Danville will become chair and Orinda becomes vice chair. And that is the scheduled rotation. So that rotation will come before you at the January 2022 SWAT meeting. We also need to appoint the new SWAT San Ramon Valley representative to the Contra Costa Transportation Authority. It's currently Mayor Hudson from the city of San Ramon. We will come to you with the staff report in January for an appointment to the authority for a term to start February 1st of 2022 for a 2-year term. And then there are a number of SWAT TAC appointments that will need to be made in January of 2022. They include appointments to various committees at the authority, such as the Technical Coordinating Committee or TCC, the Countywide Bike Ped Committee, Innovate 680. Most of those terms for those committees expire next year, so we will bring a staff report to you in January to make those appointments. And then I think it should be noted there are 2 major action items that are going to be before SWAT next year that are going to require a significant amount of discussion. Those include approving action plans, the action plans for routes of regional significance for the Tri-Valley Transportation Council, and also for the La Miranda Project Management Committee or the La Miranda area. Both of those action plans will need to be updated in the spring of next year. They need to be reviewed and approved by SWAT to forward to the Transportation Authority by May of next year, with the authority scheduled to approve all 5 of the countywide action plans in June of next year. And as you know, those action plans will then be the basis to compile the countywide, the Contra Costa countywide transportation plan. So it's really important that at TVTC and LPMC that we work on those action plans. We've already started the work with the technical advisory committees, working on updating the action plans. We will take the action plan update to TVTC next April. And we will schedule, I will defer to my colleagues in La Miranda to schedule a time for LPMC to review the LPMC action plan sometime next spring. The other items to come before you of significant interest is Innovate 680. There's been a lot of work with Innovate 680 that's been done thus far. We have the chair of Innovate 680, Supervisor Anderson. As she knows, the concept of operations or the CONOPS document there's a draft. That document will go before the Policy Advisory Committee in February, and then it will be circulated to SWAT for review and comment. So Innovate 680 also has a number of major milestones next year. There are 2 projects that are moving forward. We have the Shared Mobility Hubs project that will be moving forward, and the Northbound 680 Express Lane project. Those 2 projects are going to be moving forward next year with significant input from the local agencies, and the authority will be providing SWAT with an update on where we are with Innovate 680 with respect to the CONOPS document and those 2 projects. Here in San Ramon, we will have an update for you on where we are with the construction of the Iron Horse Trail Overcrossing project. We're excited that we've started utility underground work for the overcrossing project, and Robin Bartlett, who's the project manager from the city, will provide you with an update on the overcrossing project sometime next spring. There are some changes that the authority is making to the growth management program technical procedures guide. Matt Kelly from the authority will bring those changes before SWAT. Any transit changes that are on the horizon with respect to either BART or County Connection or LAFTA. LAFTA does serve the I-680 corridor as well. Any changes to the transit agency schedules, we will schedule those as appropriate sometime next year. And then we are also going to provide you with an update on the Accessible Services Transportation Committee. This is the new countywide committee that's working on accessible transportation. And as we just approved, we will be launching the new SWAT website January 1st of 2022. So that gives you just a summary of items before SWAT next year. Of course, if there are additional items, we will bring those items to you when appropriate. Thank you, and I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from committee members? I don't see any hands raised, virtual or otherwise. Did we receive any written public comment, Darlene?
No, we have not.
Okay, and any members of the public, I think that that status hasn't changed, as Mr. Hudson pointed out. So this was an information item. Thank you, Lisa,
You're
for
welcome.
providing us with that very, very full work plan for next year. And we do know that as we go forward, things are likely to change, but thank you for moving us forward with the action-packed January meeting. So
Okay.
with that, we will move on to agenda item 6C and discuss the January 2022 SWAT meeting date.
Yes, Madam Chair, this
And
is a
back
brief,
to Lisa.
yes, this is just a brief item just to get consensus from the SWAT committee members on your preference for a January 2022 meeting. The first meeting is on Monday, the first Monday of January is January 3rd, 2022. So the question is whether or not the 3rd will work for a SWAT committee, or would you prefer to defer the meeting to the second Monday, which would be January 10th of 2022.
So do any committee members have a strong opinion? I see committee member Worth raising her hand.
You know what, I think we
Committee
traditionally
member
move it out that following Monday, just because it's, you know, oftentimes cities have shorter staff during the holiday time and things sort of slow down. So it seemed to me if we moved it out till the 10th, that'll give staff the time to pull all the information together and you know, bring an agenda forward if that makes sense.
No, and I agree with Amy. Most schools are getting out quite late too. So sort of the vacation, so to speak, is the week following Christmas, the week following, and Board of Supervisors, we're not gathering until the following week as well. I could make it work regardless of, especially because we're meeting remotely if I happen to be traveling, but I think it makes a lot of sense, particularly for our staff, to do it the following week. Yes.
Okay, and committee member Hudson?
I think the bigger issue is, do we have to do the monthly AB 361? Outside of that, if we don't have to meet just a consent calendar, then to heck with it. I mean, it's like, it's not, I mean, really, are you going to have something between now and Christmas? If you don't, you're not going to have it by the 3rd. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's like, that's a no-brainer. Don't do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I recall we are covered by under the CCTA vote, aren't we? So we don't need to worry about it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And so I agree. I think that lots of good reasons. I think the primary one is that having staff prepare staff reports just before, you know, while they are on their break doesn't seem right. So, and it seems we have precedent for moving it to the second Monday. So with that, is there any additional comment, or may I have a motion to do that? There's action required.
Also move.
Second.
Okay. And Darlene, did we receive written public comment?
No, we have not.
Okay, thank you. So will you please conduct the roll call vote?
And before I do that, can I just please confirm that the motion was made by
Anderson.
Okay.
Committee member
Second
Anderson,
Monday.
second by Hudson. yeah.
Just assume you recognize all our voices, Darlene.
Yeah.
And it's in capital letters.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, so with that being said, Mayor Hudson,
Yes.
Supervisor Anderson,
Yes.
Mayor Worth,
Aye.
Councilmember Sauce,
Yes.
Vice Chair Stepper,
Yes.
and Chair Geringer.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And then agenda item number 7 is written communications, and I trust that we all read them and that there is no additional action on that. If you have any questions, you can follow up. Moving on to the agenda item number 8, discussion. And as I noted during the report on the work plan calendar, I think that staff has a pretty packed agenda for us. Are there any other items for the next meeting that folks think that we need to add? I don't see hands raised. So we will move on to agenda item number 9, which is adjournment until Monday, January 10th. As we had noted, and it will once again be a Zoom teleconference. And
Karen's got her hand up.
I just saw that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see it.
Committee member Stepper, do you have a
Yes,
comment
yeah, I
on
had
the
given you some,
adjournment?
I had given you some serious logo things for the Caldecott Tunnel, but I want to leave the new people with the idea that we used to have one from Gail Ultima. We get a plaque and it would have a fly swatter on it. So SWAT had another meaning.
Oh.
Have a good day, good
Well,
holiday.
if we can find those, and I actually know one of the students who's now at college who has her design up on the Caldecott Tunnel. So thank you for actually 2 students who have, I know two of them. So
Really?
anyway, first of all, happy holidays. Thank you again to staff, and enjoy that time off not preparing staff reports for a January 3rd meeting, and hope to see all of you before the new year, but if not, Happy New Year.
Unless you'd like to practice.
Okay, bye-bye.
Everyone, happy
Bye.
holidays.